Tell us about our next guest.
This is Mr. Todd Rampe. We visited with Todd a couple weeks ago. I think you were out doing something. It was Greg, myself.
Hungover.
That's all right. Mary Bert Godwin, he is the founder of Wealth Builders Institute, and he's basically helping people learn how to trade, make money, and be safe and smart about it.
Looking forward to
welcome Mr. Todd Rampe.
Todd,
back
how are you?
to the Big B Show.
Good to see you, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I did not get the notice to wear a black shirt. So, I mean,
That's because you have the best hair on the planet. Who the hell's looking at your shirt anyway? Okay?
Exactly.
Jeez, Elvis. My God, man. Seriously, you walk around like that? And of course,
I do. I just, you know,
don't. You know what? You're ridiculous. And by the way, his teeth aren't perfect.
Bring
either.
Howie back.
Maybe the most handsome man we've ever had on TV.
Bring Howie back.
By the way, Mary Bert Godwin, ladies and gentlemen, had a loss in her family. She will be back next week, which she's sorely missed. That's not why we're wearing black. We're wearing black because it makes Greg look thinner.
That's right.
Todd, talk to me. Talk to us about what you guys do there. First of all, let's talk about the Wealth Builders Institute. We've all heard about it. By the way, wealthbuildersinstitute.com is a pretty well-known site. You know, I've been in radio business for 35 years, TV for the last 20. But you are one of those sort of iconic brands out there that if you listen to any news radio or business talk radio or anything like that, we see you guys. Talk about what you guys do first of all.
we teach people how to make money trading stock options from home. Simple.
Mike has one question. What's a stock option? No, listen. Listen, I want to have you explain it because I explain it all the time on the air, and I also explain what short selling is. But I think from a guy that does this for a living, because you can. And one of the things I love that you say, and I love that you say you could rent shares for pennies on the dollar. If you think in terms of what an option is, that's really what it is. And I've never heard anyone in all of my experience of this 30 years in this show or whatever, hear someone say it's renting shares. Talk about that for a minute, because that's really interesting.
Well, I like to keep things very simple. I learned a long time ago that if you really want to get people to understand what you're saying, you got to do it on a boy. I have a strong desire to give you guys a little zing, but I haven't been on here long enough to do that yet.
No, you have, because you're co-hosting for free now. So.
By the way, I have my own story about the share. What would you call it? Share inflation?
Yeah, it's shadow inflation. Yeah.
Shadow inflation. My wife and son and I went to the lake a couple weeks ago, pulled into a Subway, got 3 sandwiches, and it was $48.
Oh,
no drinks.
Remember you could go to the Chart House restaurant, or you could go to a Mastro's, and for $48, you know, you wouldn't eat big, but you could eat pretty good for 2 people.
You left full.
But $48 for 3 Subways. Did they include the methamphetamine that you were selling on the side in there? Yeah. Because they stuffed the drugs inside the sandwich. I mean, honestly, what are they putting in this that's $48?
It's not worth it. But anyway,
renting shares is an interesting concept.
Renting shares. We're not here to talk about sandwiches, I guess. Renting shares allows people to participate in what's the stock market, which is usually reserved with people with, that have some money. And being able to get in and get out of the market at a very short period of time, and still realizing a pretty substantial return on your investment is really what renting the shares is all about. I'll tell you real quick. If you bought 100 or 1,000 shares of, pick a stock, Tesla.
Yeah, because I'm looking here. I was gonna pick. I actually looked at Tesla. So talk about Tesla right now. Tesla's trading at what price right this second? It's trading at 1 second.
$52.28.
There we go.
Now.
So $52.28 a share.
Right. So if you want to buy 1,000 shares, you need $250,000.
Yep.
And I've asked people in webinars all the time, how many people have $250,000 right now that they can invest? Crickets. You don't hear anything. So you can buy 10 contracts which control 1,000 shares. Each contract controls 100 shares, and you can buy a contract for about, say, $300. Now, I teach people how to trade the weekly options. So, every Friday they expire. And a lot of people that don't understand how they work, they say, well, time decay is going to kill you. No, it doesn't, because we are in and out usually within 15, 20, 30 minutes max.
So what you do, so Todd, you do a bit of high frequency trading meets options trading, which is really a great strategy if you don't have the time and you can set it and forget it a little bit. So you're basically saying that you're going to control 100 shares of a given stock starting on a Monday, and you're going to get out by Friday, but if not sooner. Talk about that part of it.
We get in. I really don't I don't teach any of my students to hang on to positions overnight. So we are definitely in cash by the closing bell. We want to get in, we want to get out. Now, the reason why we do this, it's very simple. The smart money, the professional traders are moving the price of stocks and ETFs around all day long. If they didn't do that, the stock would open up at a certain price, it would stay there all day, and nobody would make any money. So they push it around, and we have developed, when I say we, I developed along with my 7-figure mentor, the guy that taught me how to do this 25 years ago, figured out a way to see when they are about to make a move with about a 70% success rate. Now, what I mean by that is you will not be, and I'm not guaranteeing anybody will make money 70% of the time. What I'm saying is that when my rules of engagement line up, 70% of the time, the price will change direction. What you do with that information, is on you. And I teach my students to take advantage of that and get in and either buy calls or buy puts. No complicated strategies here. We simply are directional traders.
Todd Rampe is the founder of the Wealth Builders Institute. The website is wealthbuildersinstitute.com. Todd, people, when they first come to you, is it, hey, I've got money, I want to invest, but I literally have no clue? Do they have a little bit of a background? What's the spectrum of people that are joining you in the Wealth Builders Institute?
70% of the people that knock on my door have never traded before.
Okay.
They think they can do it with a $500 bill. They cannot. I like to tell people you need at least conservatively 5 to 10 grand to do this. Because I don't want you putting money in the market where you're emotionally attached to it. And if you don't have at least, I'll call it 10 grand. If you don't have at least 10 grand and you lose 150, it's probably going to bother you.
Yes.
But we teach people how to do this method that has a very high probability of success. Trading is all about probabilities, and it's also about mitigating risk.
And let me interrupt here, Todd. By the way, it's not difficult once you sort of know the linear fashion that you think. Because I think, to your point, and I've heard you say this before, that people think there's a misconception that stock trading is difficult, and it's not. For me, I talk to people on this program for years and years and say, look, it seems like I day trade a lot. I day trade less than probably 1.5% of my whole portfolio, but I set it and forget it. The minute I buy a stock, I sell it on a trailing stop. And if you understand, it sounds confusing, but if you understand it, it means that I'm not going to lose. I refuse to lose more than 5% on a stock. Now that's on a long-term trade. Todd's teaching a different story, but what really it turns into, as you put it, the world's greatest business if you understand it and you can uncomplicate it. Talk about why you think it's the world's greatest business. And by the way, you are now committed to being on the air on a regular basis, so you're not getting out of here. We're like the mob. Once you're in, you're in.
That's right.
Joey Bag of Donuts over here and Jimmy the Elbow are going to keep you here, so you're not going anywhere. Talk about why you think it's the world's greatest business. I mean, you can trade from the Bahamas tomorrow if you want. You could trade from New York City. You could be at on your aunt's couch with the plastic cover like Mike has, and trade from there. Talk about why you think it's the world's greatest business.
Well, first of all, every time you see a trading educator with a laptop on the beach, they're full of it. I mean, I've been trading for
crappy Wi-Fi. Crappy Wi-Fi on the beach.
Yeah, or I mean, come on, who's going to take a laptop to the beach? That makes no sense to me. But I have traded all over the world. I placed trades in, from a hotel in Thailand, on vacation. It is the world's greatest business because you don't have any employees. You don't have overhead. You can start and stop when you want. If you want to give yourself a raise anytime, you can do that. I had a student one time say, I was taking my family on vacation and I thought, you know what? I remember you saying this on a webinar one time, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to, this week I'm going to make an extra $5,000. And he said, I wanted to pull that money out of the account, which he rarely pulled money out, I guess. He just kept scaling. But he said, I want to make the money this week to pay for the vacation. And he called me one day. He's like, I did it. So I love the fact that you said that, planted the seed, and I was able to execute it.
Todd, before you let you out of here today, how do people get involved with Wealth Builders Institute? I'm assuming they just go to wealthbuildersinstitute.com and they can sign up and so on and so forth.
There is. I also just recently, we're actually putting the finishing touches on it. It's that new. I put together a 5 video series that explains everything for free. Anybody can have it if they want it. I want to dispel some myths out there. I want people to see that it is simple. And by the way, the old line, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah. That's true with me. I barely made it through high school. I never went to college.
Yeah, but you had good hair and good teeth, so just shut up. Hey, Todd, can you're only in Arizona. You get your ass in studio here, please. We need you in studio here. We need to have you for
I'm
a
in
whole hour.
Vegas.
I know, it's
Las
gonna be-
Vegas.
Even better. Well, Vegas, Arizona. We're in San Diego. It's all the same thing.
It's all
Can
it's all
you
sand.
please come out here and come in the studio with us and hang out with us?
Sure.
I think it'd be great.
Absolutely.
His name is Todd Rampe, by the way. Brought to you by Laptop Beer. Bring your laptop to the beach. I just created a new thing.
Yeah,
Laptop Beer.
I like it.
Hey, I just got my laptop. I'm with my laptop, honey. It's like naming the bar The Office.
Pretty much.
I'm at the office, huh? With my laptop.
Don't hate me. I'm working.
Todd Rampe, wealthbuildersinstitute.com. Good stuff.